All right, we got to talk about the DeTomaso Pantera. And hold on, I know it says right there that we're talking about fields parameters, but let's talk about the DeTomaso Pantera. Now, the DeTomaso Pantera is like a 1970s supercar where it had a low production, I guess, and it's not really recognizable. But there's a subreddit called "What Is This Car?" and you can search for it. reddit.com/r/whatisThisCar, and I kid you not, like 9 times out of 10 people will post and it's a Pantera. Now, this is such a huge thing that there's actually several novelty users, all with variations of the name "It's a Pantera," and they're usually like summoned because, once again, it's always a Pantera. So what does this have to do with Power BI? Well, I feel that on the Power BI subreddit, and even other places I've seen, a lot of the questions are answered by its fields parameters. Maybe I should make a novelty username called its fields parameters and see how it performs, because a lot of the questions that people are asking can be solved with fields parameters, and it's, I guess, such an unknown thing, or not commonly known, I guess is the better way to say it. But the reality is, I want to make sure that every time I answer, hey, use fields parameters for this, I at least have a video to back it up. And I've done several attempts during my streams. If you watch my streams, you've probably seen me implement fields parameters in some way, shape, or form. But I wanted to give you sort of a direct video, no distractions with chat, even though I love chat. No distractions with chat, just a simple, clean video that you can use to follow along. But first, I am going to do what I usually do, which is give you a gear check. All right, so today we have keyboard is the Keychron K6. It has blue switches. They are a little loud, if I'm completely honest. I wouldn't recommend this keyboard in like an office environment, but during since I work at home, my office, I'm by myself, so I can be as clickety and as clackety as I want. Mouse, Logitech MX Master 3S. It's old, reliable. I have a 2S somewhere around here, but I am excited to open up this, which is the low-free touch mouse, and it is actually a mechanical keyboard style mouse. That's really interesting because the buttons go clickety clack apparently as well. I'm going to be doing an unboxing short later today, which is why it's still in the wrapper, but I'm very excited to get this up and running. And headphones are simple HyperX Cloud 2s. I have the black ones on today. I have 2 pairs of blacks and 1 pair of red. They're great, so I absolutely love them, and they make recording these streams really easy. All right, so let's get right into it. We're gonna hop in to our PC, and first up, it is the DeTomaso, or it may as well be called the DeTomaso Pantera subreddit, but it's the "What Is This Car?" subreddit. I searched for Pantera just to prove my point, but more often than not, it's a Pantera, and the user "It's a Pantera" will be called out. Sometimes they're busy, so "It's a Pantera guy is busy" is also a username, and they'll pop in sometimes. It's really interesting. Go check it out if you haven't already. All right, so what I want to show you though is this report, which is one of the reports that I've been using to implement fields parameters. And what you see here is actually me switching between imperial and metric units. Now, why is it imperial and metric? Because technically speaking, I have Celsius and Fahrenheit here. I have kilometers and miles per hour here. I have pressure, PSI and bar here, and I have liters and gallons here, and I wanted to switch them all at the same time, which is why I just have buttons called imperial and metric, and you can see that the whole report changes. It's not very noticeable, but it is. If you look at all the different labels that you see up here, you'll see that in the track it's kilometers, and when I switch over to imperial, it's miles per hour. For the speeds, fuel levels, all that stuff changes. This becomes even more useful here when I'm doing an analysis for fuel, by lap, fuel consumption by lap, which is a very interesting project that a student in, I believe, Peru had, and she and I worked together to get some data and to build an analysis on this. So very, very cool. And I was very happy to work on that project. All right, so this is one of the things that you can do, but what else can you do with fields parameters? Well, I want to make sure that you're very aware. Today we're going to talk about when to use them. We're going to talk about the experience that your users get. We're going to talk about how to set up fields parameters, and we're going to talk about how to expand their use a little bit. You'll see something like the imperial and metric grouping that I did. Now, what sort of things can you use this for if you don't have access to, let's say, sim racing data like I do in my report? Well, you can use it for things like year to date, quarter to date, or month to date switching, maybe week to date. You can use it to switch between things like categories. Let's say you have data with stores, with different brands, with different countries, even you can switch as well. And you can use it for, as you just saw, units of measurement. So gallons and liters, miles per hour, versus kilometers, Fahrenheit and Celsius, and even pounds or kilograms if you work in like shipping or something like that. So again, let's get right into it. I want to make sure that you have a full video on how to create these things, how to use them properly, and how to expand on them. All right, so we're going to go back to my computer here, as you can see, and I have this report, which is going to be the report that we're going to create together. Here you can see that I have a full page with all the values. They have different colors. We have a line graph, we have a table, and we have a bar chart as well, along with just a standard multi-row chart. And here, no, I don't want to delete that. Here we have a fields param table that allows us to switch between the two. We can switch by grouping, so sales and discounts versus gross sales and profits, or we can do it individually. We can remove and add individually as well. I'm going to show you how to do all that, but first let's just start from scratch. Let's do it together. And the cool thing is you're going to have access to this report. It's published. You're going to have access to this report. It's going to be right here in the description. Am I pointing to the description right now? I don't know. Maybe I'm pointing to the description. Maybe it's up there. No, you know what is going to be up there? The videos that taught me about fields parameters. So GuyInACube has done several videos on fields parameters. They did one when it was first introduced. Patrick, I believe, was the one that did it. And then they did one when they added a new feature called Hierarchies to it as well. So that video has been up there, hopefully the whole time I've been saying this. And then there's another video by Boss from HowToPowerBI. He shows how you can sort of build further out on it, and he shows a bunch of cool, neat tricks, things like controlling segmentation versus all, things like controlling the colors, which I'm going to show you how to do today. But I want to make sure that you have access to those videos, so they'll be up there and also down in the description. I just wanted to create sort of a simpler start to finish style view. So let's start. And what I did was I just started a brand new report. Okay, I'm gonna start a blank report, and when you start your blank report, you're met with this page. We're gonna use sample data. This time I'm not gonna do some interesting cool data set. This data set's not very fun to work with. It kind of reminds me of the Northwinds database. I don't know if you remember the Northwind Traders database. It's like like an outdoor shop, something like that. And then there's another shop, something about cycling. All right, anyway, we're gonna go ahead and say experiment on your own and load the sample data. When you do that, it's gonna load this right here, and what we want is the financial sheet. You can feel free to load the sheet one if you want. I'm gonna load the financials sheet because it's the easiest one for me. So when you click load, you'll see it loads about 700 records, I believe is what it has. And we're good to go. Now we have our data. You can see it in the data pane here. We have sales, we have cost of goods sold, country, dates, bunch of stuff. So the first thing I like to do is just build a quick grid that'll allow me to see all of the data at a glance. Okay, so that's what we're going to do first, and we're going to start with the date. So first thing we're going to do is just add a simple table. I'm going to close the filters here so I have a little bit more room to work with. So we're going to have our simple table. I'm going to add the date. You'll see that the date goes into like this hierarchy mode. I don't want that. I'm going to right click and just select the date here so it shows simpler. And then I see like it has the weekday. So I'm going to change that. I'm going to click the date here. I'm going to click format, and I'm going to switch it to short date because that's how I like it. And that allows me to sort of see a very small version of the date. All right, next up, what are we going to do? We are going to add the rest of the fields. So I'm going to start with product. Then I'm going to choose segment. I'm going to choose country. I'm going to choose units sold. I'm going to use, let's see, gross sales. I'm going to choose discounts, then sales. Nope, that's sales price. I don't want that. I'm sure you can use it if you want to, but I don't want that. I want cost of goods sold as well, just to have it here. Okay, so we have, and you can see here, as I add them, as long as it can summarize them, it's going to do that automatically for you. If you don't want to summarize that, you can just right click on these and say don't summarize, but I'm going to keep these summarized because it is my intent to do so. All right, so we have our data grid. I'm just going to rename this page data grid. Great. Now I'm going to create a brand new page. And in this brand new page, I'm just going to throw all the values into some easy to use fields. So first one I want to do is I want to do a multi-row card. So in the multi-row card, I'm going to throw gross sales. I'm going to throw discounts. I'm going to throw sales, which is somewhere here. Oh, there it is up at the top. And then I'm going to throw profit in. I wish this was like alphabetical. Huh. Maybe I should look at how to make these alphabetical, because I could have sworn most of these are alphabetical. Oh no, you know what? It is. Some weird thing I found in this data set, which maybe you found too, is that this sales is actually space sales for some weird reason. I'm not sure why. Maybe it was a mistake when they were building the data set. Anyway, just know that that's a weird issue, and if you see anything going wrong with sales, that's probably why, is because it's actually space sales. You can take a second right now and just rename it. Right click and rename, and you can see that there's like a little space right here. See, I'm gonna leave that just because I want it to be exactly how yours is. Oh, and it looks like it actually changed it for me, and it doesn't let me push a sales through. So let's see if I can rewind that. Nope, looks like I can't. So you may as well go ahead and remove that leading space from sales now. Otherwise, you might not be able to follow along super easily. All right, so again, the first thing we want to do is just build our visuals, but what I want to make sure is that I avoid an issue that I found while I was building this. While I was building this, I put together a line chart or an area chart. So let's go ahead and do that right now. Right here, I put together a line chart with, again, gross sales, discounts, sales, and profit. And I did that by date. So I'm going to right click on this date. And here, I thought this was supposed to be an area chart. Man, this new Power BI is just sometimes a bit annoying. There we go. Maybe I just clicked the wrong one. Anyway, I put this together, and when I tried using fields parameters with it, I found that this line chart right here was actually giving me blanks and wasn't letting me. So the way I fixed that is probably the way you'll want to run things anyway, if you like using measures, and that's creating measures for all of these, some measures. Okay, so that's what we're going to do just really quickly. Now, everyone has different naming conventions that they like to use with measures. For me, for this particular demo, I'm just going to use underscore. Why underscore? Because it'll float the measures all the way up to the top. and you can easily access them. So what am I going to do for this one here? I'm just going to say sales sum equals the sum of sales. And I'm just going to select the one I want and hit tab and close that. Next, I'll right click, new measure again, underscore discounts sum equals the sum of discounts. Pretty straightforward stuff. We're just going to do this together just so you can see exactly how long it takes, how the process is. We're going to do a profit sum, and that's going to be equal to the sum of profit, and one more, which is gross sales, I believe. Yep, right click, new measure, and we'll say gross sales equals the sum of gross sales. Let's close that up. And now we have our 4 measures. Now you can do any sort of formatting you want to these, including currency. You can put them in dollars, euros, whatever you want to do. But I found that that is what allows me to avoid any issues I have with visualization. So I'm going to actually go ahead and remove all of these, and I'm going to add these instead. Now, while I'm adding them, let's quickly explain them. Gross sales is just everything sold. Then any discounts applied will lead you to the final sales number, and then minus cost of goods is going to be your profit. So that's really the equation, right? It's gross sales is just everything sold at whatever value, then the discounts applied, gross sales minus discounts equals the sales, and sales minus cost of goods sold, the COGS, equals the profit. So that's very important to understand if you're working with this data. If you're working with your own data, then you understand it. I'm not going to try to teach you anything about your own data. How the audacity of me trying to teach you about your own data. That's kind of weird, right? So I'm going to focus on this one. So I'm going to go ahead and switch this card out as well and make sure that I have that. And what I want to do is put them always in this order: gross sales, discounts, sales, and profit. You don't have to do this. I just find it easier. So let's go ahead and build a horizontal chart as well, which is a clustered bar chart right here. And here, what I'm going to do is actually do it by country. So the y-axis will be country, and the x-axis will be, again, gross sales, discounts, profit, and sales. And I know I did that out of order, but I did put them in order. You can always rearrange these by just dragging them up or down. Okay. All right. So now we have that. And we're going to do one final thing, which is a small grid. So we'll open the table right here. We'll put it right down here. And we're going to add the date first, which is right here. Again, right click and just change it to be the month or just the date. Then we're going to use product. And after we've done with product, we're going to again add the sum of sales. We're going to add the discounts. We're going to add it's gross sales first. Man, I'm really bad at this order thing, right? All right, luckily I can rearrange them. So gross sales, discount, sales, and then profit. We good here? Yeah, we're good there. Okay, now let's add some color consistency here, right? So what we want to do is we want to change the colors of these lines to be, whenever it's gross sales, it's going to be like a little blue. Whenever it's discounts, a red. Then we have sum of sales and sum of profit. So let's go ahead and do that. What we're going to do for this line chart is we're going to go to the formatter. I'm going to click more options so it opens up the pane. I don't need this guy right now, just to give us a little bit of room. And we're going to go to the line section. And then for each individual series, so gross sales, we're going to go down to color, and we're going to make sure it is this blue. Then we're going to switch down to discounts and make sure discounts is like a red. Okay. And then maybe a brighter red. Nah, pastel's fine. All right. Then we're going to go to sales, and that's going to be like a purple. And then for profit, That's going to be a sort of green. Now, this green, I'm going to want to hold on to it as much as possible. So what I'm actually going to do is steal this hex code so that it's consistent. Now, over here in this hex code, I'm going to just paste it in a new page. And I'm just going to say sales green. Call this sales green is this guy here. And you can do this with all your colors. Just create a reference page, hide it so no one sees it. And that way you can be very consistent. And anyone who works on this after you can also use this page. So I'm going to right click and hide it so that when you publish this, nobody really sees it. All right, here we're going to name this page all values. And now we get to reuse all of this now here, right? So right here, we're just going to do data bars instead down here. We're going to go to our visual. Where is the visualization? Oh, here. It's over here on the right in the build section. Again, the new Power BI is a little bit confusing. I don't really like the layout, but I guess we'll learn it. We're going to right click here on gross sales. We're going to add data bars. And what I like to do is when I'm doing data bars specifically, because they flow over the numbers, I like to use slightly lighter ones. So this second row right here is the color choice that I usually have. The negative bar you don't have to worry too much about, but just in case, you can do like a really light gold or something like that. All right, so that's what it is right there. I'm going to do this for discounts. Again, discounts is going to be sort of a red. So again, like a light pastel red from this second row. There it is right here. Then we have a sales sum. Sales sum is going to be what? That green color, right? No, actually that's the profit. Sales sum is going to be purple. So we'll go to data bars. We'll choose it and we'll choose the second row as purple. And that way we can still see the text behind the purple. Profit is the green one, right? So conditional formatting, data bars, and then the profit can be that green color. There it is right there. Hit OK. And now we have it. So here I'm going to go back to my reference and just make sure that profit is the one that has that profit green. It sounds like a Bob Ross color, right? Well, we're going to use a little phthalo blue and some profit green. Man, I missed that guy. Luckily, he's on Twitch. Did you know Bob Ross is on Twitch? Go to Bob Ross's Twitch channel. I can't like put it on the screen or anything. Just go to Bob Ross's Twitch channel. All right, so this profit, I want to make sure that I did it right for this one. Yep, it looks like this legend says profit sum is green. So now let's do it for this bar chart. So in the bar chart, the way you format them is you go to the bars section, and then where you see series all, you just switch to each one. So for gross sales, that's going to be the blue. Switch over to discount sum, that's going to be the red. For sales, that's going to be the purple. And for profit, that's going to be the green. Now, luckily, I already have it selected down here because I recently used it, so you don't have to go get that code every single time. All right, so now we have these. A little bit of an extra, you can also do it for these callout values. You would have to select it right here, the conditional formatting of it, and you basically, I think, have to go to the rules, and you have to, I don't know, it's depending on something, but I'm not going to really touch that too much right now just because it complicates things. But there are several ways to get these formats to show that way. All right, I think maybe the cards. See, I'm going to waste time here and I don't want to waste your time. So let's just jump right in. Now, I have this and it's all good, but your boss walks in and says, hey, I actually want to see every single one as its own graph, right? This chart is too messy. This chart is too messy with it. I want to see each one individually. So what's your first thought? Your first thought is, oh, well, I got to create 4 pages, or I got to create some bookmarks because that's how we used to do it back in the old days. I'm talking about like 6, 7, 8 years ago, or 6 or 7 years ago. We used to have to use bookmarks and we thought that was like super innovative. But the reality is it's really painful to maintain. It's sort of pleasant for your users unless you get something wrong, but it's really painful to maintain. So I want to make sure that you are able to build this without having to use bookmarks. All right, so let's build our new page. And to do that, I'm just going to duplicate this page. Okay, and now we have a duplicate of this page. We're going to call this page field. Sometimes it's like fields parameters and sometimes it's field parameters. But the official name for it, if you go to the modeling section, is fields parameter. Fields with an S. All right. So let's add one, right? Let's add a fields parameters because that's why you're here. It's been a while. I've been talking for a while and I still haven't showed you fields parameters, but it's important for me to set things up so that I can properly show them to you. So what we're going to do is we are going to add a brand new fields parameter here, right? We're going to click on, let's go back and do that. We're going to click on the modeling section. We're going to add a new parameter and we're going to choose fields. Now, when we choose fields, it's going to ask us, what do you want this to be named? I always like to name parameters starting with P. That's just an old SQL habit that I have from SQL Server and Oracle, that I name my stuff with P. I'm going to call it P switch values. And the fields I want to add are, again, I'm going to try to do this in order that I want them to appear on the list. That's kind of important, but it's also not super important if you have to switch the order around later, which we will do. We'll show you how to do that. So I'm actually going to add them by mistake in a different order. I'm going to add discounts first, gross sales, profit sum, and sales. Let's say I'm just choosing them down the line. Then I'm going to hit create, and I'm going to make sure that this add slicer to this page button is also selected. So here you can see that it added my values in the wrong order. Don't panic, that's okay. We're going to go to this and fix that right now. Now, how do we fix it? Well, we open up P-switch values, we click on it right here, and when we go to the data area, we can now see that there's a new data set. When we look at it as a real data set in the data model, you can see that it's just a disconnected table. Now, what makes it cool is that even though it's a disconnected table, it actually filters out the rest of your page or the rest of your report based on the value you select here. So when I open up this data set, I will see a field called P-switch values. And when I click on that, I can see that this is basically just a table with the name of the field that I want to show, like a label, the actual field, and then this 0, 1, 2, 3. That is the order in which they're going to show up, not only in that slicer, that picker, but also in your visuals when you select them. That's the important part that a lot of people don't realize, is that it also determines the order that they show up in the visual. Let's say this table right here, that's the important part, right? So I want to switch these around. What do? Well, I'm going to make sure that gross sales is first. So I'm going to cut this and paste it here. Then gross sales, discounts, profits goes last, right? Profit sum goes last. So here, now I get to switch this to 0, 1, 2, and 3. Now I'm not done because I switched the order around. This last comma needs to go, and it needs to be added right here. So now I have gross sales, discounts, sales, and profit sum. Not only that, but I also don't like these names. So I'm just going to name this gross sales. I'm going to name it discounts. I'm going to name this sales, and this profits. Now you can see, when I hit enter, you can see that this filter sort of changed. And now we can see the real names, or the friendlier names for your users. They won't have to be confused as to why there's like an underscore there. All right, so let's go ahead and implement this change into our report. Now, when we click on gross sales, what happens? Nothing. Let's try clicking on sales. Nothing. Why? Why is that? Well, it's because you need to use those fields in your visuals for them to actually take hold. So let's start with this line chart. We're going to actually remove all of these and just simply add this P-switch values. Let's go ahead and add it first, and then we can just remove it from here. And now you can see gross sales has been added. We're going to show discounts. And you can see that the title changes, and so do the values actually. Then we have sales and profit. We can see that that all changed, right? Great. Let's do it to the table as well. So we're going to remove all of these. and just add P switch values. And now we can see because we have profit selected, only profit shows up. Then it's sales, discounts, and gross sales. Great. Let's do it to the bar graph as well. I'm gonna remove all of these. I'm gonna leave one in there because I have this like I'm superstitious, and I always say that if I remove all the values from a particular field before adding a new one, then the formatting will go away. That's just me being cautious, I guess. It doesn't really matter. You don't have to do that. And then here as well, we can go ahead and remove all these, add P switch values, and we'll be good to go. So now we have gross sales everywhere, discounts everywhere, sales everywhere, and profit everywhere. But what happened? We kind of lost our colors, right? So now you're like, oh man, I'm a little bummed here because I wanted to make sure that the colors stayed that whole blue, red, purple, and green. So what do? Well, all you really have to do is trick Power BI into thinking that the column's still there, format it, and then remove it. Let's start with a grid because it's really the easiest for me to do. So I'm going to go to switch values here, and normally you'd go, oh, I'm just going to right click this and do the conditional formatting. Well, do you see conditional formatting? Because I sure don't. So how do you do it? Well, again, you got to trick Power BI into doing it. Since I'm on profit right now, I'm going to bring in profit sum, which is the field. Please don't confuse this with this profit field because it will not work with that one. This is not the field that's being used right now. It's this. So make sure you bring in whatever field you are actively on, whatever field you're actually using. In this case, it's the measure. I'm going to bring profit sum in, and you can see that it's exactly the same, right? This one I can right click on. I can do conditional formatting. I can go to data bars, switch it to the green. Do I still have the green? No, I sure don't. So let's cancel that for a second. I'm gonna go get my green. There we are. All values. No, I'm in the fields param page. I almost got lost. Right click, conditional formatting. We're gonna choose data bars. We're gonna go to the positive bar, more colors, paste our green in there. You can change this negative bar. I'm not going to right now. And now we have it. But now there's two of them. Well, watch. When I remove profit, look what stays. It remembers the value it had for profit. So what do you have to do? You have to add it for each one. Let's go to sales. I'm going to drag sales sum in here. I'm going to right click on the sales sum, data bars, switch over to this one right here, which is purple for sales. And now we have sales. I'm going to go to discounts, add the discount sum to the table, right click on that, conditional formatting, data bars, and what is it? Gross sales? No, discounts. All right, make it red, hit OK, and now we have discounts in red. Remove discounts and we're good. Then switch over to gross sales and add gross sales. Right click, conditional formatting, data bars, and we're going to do this pastel blue. Great. Now watch, when we switch over, discounts, sales, and profit, they retain their colors. That's super cool, right? Let's do it for the profit by date area chart. So this one's a little bit trickier. Here, I want to make sure that I do it right. So here, when I go to format, it's actually going to be here in the lines area. So in the lines, in the color, all you really have to do is make sure that you are in the all right here. Choose the color. And for profit, it's going to be green. So there it is. When I switch over to sales, it turns blue again. Profit is green, and that's good. So I go to sales. I go to back to this format. And I know it's kind of annoying, but hey, this works. So sales is going to be purple. We can see it in the rest of the report. We go to discounts. Discounts is going to be, if we go back to the lines, discounts is going to be red. There we go. And gross sales. I want to make sure that blue is locked in, because if you don't actually choose this blue, even though it's the one that's already chosen, if you don't actually choose it, when you deploy, Power BI might just switch it to a completely different color. So you want to make sure you choose that blue, even though it is the default. All right. So now we have gross sales, discounts, and you can see that these two fields or these two visuals change the colors. Great, let's do it right here in profit by country. Now, with profit by country, you also want to make sure that you have whatever it is selected. Let's make sure that this works. So I want to do profit by country. I'm going to go ahead and select the bars, which is the where you format the colors. And here I'm going to try to treat it the same way as this profit by date. So let's try it out. We have profit. We're going to choose green. Then we switch to sales. It stayed green. Hold on. We can't do that. That's not good. That's not good. Because when I switch it to sales, watch, when I switch it to sales and I go back to this bar graph, it still says all, and we have purple. Well, now profit's purple now. So what do I do with this? How do I get this to work? All you have to do is treat it very similarly to the table. So I'm going to go ahead and add, since I'm currently in profit, I'm going to go to profit sum and just add it to the x-axis here. Okay. Then I'm going to go back to my bars area. And now I get to choose, where is it? In my categories? No. I don't know. Let's try this. Let's try profit being green. Is that how I did it? There we go. Profit. And now sales. Sales and profit. Good. Nope. That didn't work. Profit. Slicer header. I'm in the wrong place, aren't I? Here. All right, here. What's going on? Why can't I do this? Well, this is where you get a little bit fancy. Here, I'm going to go back to my other Power BI report where I do have this done. And we'll look at this bar graph and we'll see that when we format it, what I actually have is a series. If you look, the series is right here. It's not by country anymore. So what happened? What can we do to fix this? Well, what I did was, if you go here, you'll see that I just added all my gross sales, discounts, and sales here. And now in the series, it lets me pick between them. So now I'm going to go to profit and I'm going to change the color to green. I'm going to go to discounts. I'm going to change the color to the red that we had. I'm going to go to gross sales, change the column to blue. Again, we have to pick the blue. And then what's left? Sales. That is the purple. Now I should be able to remove all of these. And here we have profit. Why didn't it do it? Man, now I'm showing you wrong things here. All right, I got it to work here, so I think I can make it work over here. Discounts, gross sales, and profit. What did I do over here that actually worked? Did I add it to the legend and I just forgot to add it to the legend here? Is that why? Where's my build? Nope, there's no legend here. All right, let's figure this out together, because I completely forgot what I did. Even though I literally just prepped this for you like 20 minutes ago, I already forgot what I did. So let's try to make it work. Let's try to make it happen. If you already made it work, feel free to skip. I have chapters all along here for you to follow along, but I'm gonna just sit tight here and make it work. And I'm not gonna edit this because I want you to understand what it's like, you know, having to sort of feel this out and make sure it works. Maybe I'm looking at it the wrong way. Nope, I'm looking at it the right way. We're gonna do bars. And now here, my categories switch back to the country. So I want to say that when I had the profit here, I added profit and I saw, nope, my categories didn't switch. So my color, maybe it's the color based on the field that I had, the field value, like a rule. Did I have a rule in my other one? And that's the crazy part about this, huh? Series profit. There's no like there's no function switcher, so I know it's not that. But let me make sure. Okay, so maybe if I click out and then click back in, my categories will have changed. No, they did not. Am I supposed to add it to the legend like this? Nope, definitely not. Right click on that, that's the profit. If I add one more, what happens? Okay, I'm pretty sure I have to add a minimum of 2 of those measures, and maybe now I can switch it. Okay, so that's profit. Then we're in sales. I'm gonna click back on this, and now I can go to sales and switch the sales color to purple. And let's see if that works. I'm gonna take both of these back out, and we have profit. Man, how did I do this? Is it only when multiple? Oh, I think it is. I think it is only when multiple are selected. So let me try that again. I want to make sure that this works here. Let's see. Yeah, maybe. But I think it's supposed to work anyway. Let's give this a shot and see if this works. All right, for the profit, it's supposed to be green. For the sales, it's supposed to be purple. For discounts, it's supposed to be red, which is here. And for gross sales, it's supposed to be blue. All right, so now we have it working how we want it. Let's see if I remove stuff. No, it just goes back to that. It just goes back to green, which is what I selected for one value, right? That's really annoying. All right, let's do it one more time. And I think I remember now. I'm just lying. I'm just guessing. All right, so we're in gross sales. We're going to add profit sum. And here we're going to click on profit sum. Now profit, I want to be green. Good. Then I'm going to remove profit sum, and I'm going to click on gross sales. Click out and then go back in. And now I have to click on discounts. And now I have discounts. I'm going to make, no, that's already red. Okay. Remove gross sales. And now discounts is green again. What is going on? Am I supposed to do it here? Let me see if I can do it here. Let's do it based on rules. And I have 4 new rules based on the P switch values, which is this guy right here. If it is gross sales, then I want it to be blue. Maybe this will work. If it is discounts, I want it to be red. Aren't you glad that you stuck with me? This was supposed to be a quick video to get you out the door quickly, but this is not happening apparently. All right, sales is purple, and profit is that same green. Do we have it copied? Yeah, we sure do. All right, hit OK. And now, gross sales, discount sales, and profit. There we go. That's what it was. You have to enable the function, and now you can choose it. It's this function right here for the bar color. Man, that took us a while, but I'm glad we are good to go. Sorry about the delay, but hey, that's what happens when you're filming live. This is recorded, but I'm not live, but I still, anyway. All right, so we have gross sales, discount sales, and profit. Everything turns green. That's fantastic, right? Now, one thing I want to do is make sure that people can only pick if you need to, you need to make sure that people can only pick one at a time. To control that, you actually go to the slicer itself. You go to slicer settings. Here's where you can do things like make it a tile. So if you want to make it a tile, you can do that. There you go. And you can do these in like, you know, simple rows like this if you wish, or you can make it a drop down where they have to pick from a pick list, right? Or you can just make it a vertical list like I have right here. That's absolutely fine. It's really up to you. But here's where you can control whether or not they can select only one value. So if I want them to only select one value at a time, I click single select, and you can see that these turned from checkboxes to radio buttons. That means that they can only select one at a time. You can also turn that off. Make sure you uncheck this whole multi-select with control. The fact is, a lot of your users are not going to realize that you can do that. And then turn on a select all, and that allows the users to select everything at the same time, or select one at a time and add them to the list. Okay, so here they can flip back and forth between them, and that's absolutely fine. Why is my profit? Oh no, it's good. It's good. I'm just confused, apparently. All right, so what are we gonna do? Man, is it sales? Yeah, okay, now it's good. We're good to go here. So now I want to show you how to sort of take this further. Well, you know what? Let's stop for a second and just understand what we just did. Okay, we allowed the user to see these four values in the same space, right? And if you want to start adding things, like let's say I want to add COGS to it, I would first make a COGS measure, and then over here I would add COGS, the new COGS measure, as just a copy of this, and now suddenly they'll be able to pick from COGS as well, so cost of goods sold. That's how easy it is to add fields to this fields parameter. If you suddenly get a new unit or a new breakdown that you want to show, you can do that. Same way, if you want to remove one, you can just remove it from here and it'll be removed completely from the list. I'll show you what that looks like. I can actually hold control and click KC, and it'll comment this out. When I update that, everything will go away. I don't want to lose my colors though, so I'm not going to do that for you right now. But if you just comment one, it'll go away. You just have to make sure you remove the last comma. All right, so a step further. What if your boss says, hey, I actually want people to switch between gross sales and profit, or sales and discounts? Like, I want the choice to automatically select two at a time. How do we do that? Well, there is a sort of hidden value, and that's the one in the description below. You'll see a link to PowerBI's GuyInACube. They have a video on like hierarchies and what you can do with hierarchies, and we're about to do that right now. If you want to see his video, I don't blame you. I love his videos, so you can switch to that one instead, or you can watch that after this one. Your call. Okay, so when I go to switch values, what I can actually do here is add one more value. But before we do that, I want to make sure I'm organized. So what am I going to do? I'm going to actually make a new line here, and I'm going to add a comment that says this section is gross, sales, and profit. Make sure to close that comment. And this section here is sales and discounts. Great. So now we have our two sections, but you can see that gross sales and profit is not where this is, right? I need to move profit up here, and I need to leave discounts down here. So I want gross sales and profit, and then sales and discounts. Now we can see that our order is once again messed up. So we're going to do fix the order. So 0, 1, 2, and 3. And you can also see that our commas are messed up. So we want to make sure we fix our commas so that the last row has no comma after it. And now we're good. Now we can see that the order actually changes, and when I click OK here or commit, what I'll see is that everywhere will change. Not only here, but also in the grid. Now I have gross sales and profit and sales and discounts. But that's not what my boss asked me, right? My boss asked me, hey, I want to be able to click one button and see those instead. So now we get to activate the fourth value, and I like to think of this as like the entrance to Hogwarts, or the entrance to, I don't know, King's Cross Station, I think, right? It's where I don't know, man, Harry Potter fans, I apologize so much, but you're basically going to take your trolley and you're just going to run full speed against the wall and hope you make it out on the other side, right? So what I'm going to do is add a comma right here at the end of this first line, and then I'm just going to say gross sales and profit. I'm going to copy that, including the comma, and I'm going to add it right here. Now, you have to be very precise with this. You have to make sure that you do it right after the number and before the parentheses. Don't do it after the parentheses, do it before, okay? Then here, I'm going to add another comma and add sales and discounts. And again, if you have an error here, it is very likely that it's because you did it before or after the parentheses. Just make sure you do it after the parentheses. So now you can see that these two have the same value for what I call value 4, or the fourth argument, the fourth parameter, that sort of thing. These two have the same value and these two have the same value. That means they are now part of the same hierarchy group or category. I like to call it categories as well. When I click commit, no change will be seen here on the report, but you will see a new field right here, right above my head. It's called value 4. I'm going to right click on value 4 and I'm going to rename it. And I'm just going to call this category. You can call it like metric category or something like that. So now category is what I'm going to add. And I don't have to add it to any of my visuals. All I have to do is add it to my slicer. So I'm going to click here, I'm going to drag it. But when you add it, you want to make sure you add it above your p-switch values. And now you'll see hierarchies for all of your values in the same way that you just organized them. So when I click on gross sales and profit, I see gross sales and profit. When I click on sales and discounts, I will see sales and discounts. So just know that that's what's going to help you. Now, I did notice something is a bit weird here with profit. So let's see if we can look at profit, and man, that's gonna be I'm gonna mess something up, aren't I? But hey, we're here and we gotta get this done. Nope, I'm not gonna fix that. Profit looks like it's supposed to be, oh, it's still green. I think it's just when everything's together that it's not happy. Gross sales is fine, but profit is supposed to be green here. So I kind of want to fix it, but I also don't want to mess everything up. Let's see if that fixes it. Yeah, I think that fixed it. Okay, great. I didn't mess everything up. Yay! All right, so so now we can see that we can actually control 2 things at a time. And the cool thing is, if you actually wanted to add a third group for gross sales and discounts, you could do that too, right? You can switch around what people want to see or what people need to see. You can control that. Not only that, but you can technically sort of leave these closed like this. If I collapse these, you can leave them closed and just gross sales and profit or sales and discounts like that. And you can toggle them. Not only can you leave them closed, but if you look, I'm going to go ahead and copy this and paste it here. And I guess, no, I'm just going to switch it. I'm just going to switch it because it's easy to switch back. I'm actually going to remove this p-switch values. Okay, I'll completely remove it. And now they don't even have the option to select individual ones. They can only select them as a group. So if you want to control that as well, that's fine. That's actually how I did the whole control the metric and imperial, is I'm controlling the hierarchy, and each one of them has kph, bar, Celsius, or mph, Fahrenheit, and psi. So that is one way that you can do it, is also control the hierarchy as well. All right, so I want to keep this under an hour, and I think we did that. 54 minutes or whatever it is. This is completely unedited. So what did we learn here? Let's wrap it up, because you got things to do. I'm sure you want to try this out yourself. But basically, we started out with an all values, and remember here, if our boss said we wanted to analyze these individually, we'd have to create either 4 pages, or we'd have to do all sorts of wizardry with bookmarks, and you know bookmarks are a huge pain. But for fields params, all we have to do is just put them in a fields parameter and you can use the same exact real estate. You can just have one page to switch everything. And remember, you can do this with like year to date, quarter to date, month to date. You can do this for like stores, brands, countries, like switch around regions. I like to divide. I work with data from Puerto Rico a lot, so there are 78 municipalities, but there are only 7 regions. So I like to categorize those municipalities into regions and allow people to switch between the region instead of having to check 78 municipalities. You imagine 78 check boxes? That's a huge pain. 7 is a lot easier for them to do. So hopefully this has been instrumental, useful for you, and hopefully it is a well-deserved answer to my please use field parameters. Just really quick, I want to wrap it up by adding one value to this and hoping it works. If it doesn't, I'll just cut it out, right? That's the power of editing, the magic of editing. So I'm going to add my p-switch values back to this, and I'm just going to add sales and discounts. I want to add COGS. So how do I do that? I go to my p-switch values function, and then here I'm going to add one line. Shift enter, and then I'm just going to copy this because I'm lazy. I want to make it part of the group sales and discounts. So here I'm just going to name this COGS, and here I want to add my COGS. Ooh, but that's an issue, right? Because I haven't created my measure. So let me quickly create my measure. I'm going to right click. I'm going to add a new measure. I'm going to underscore COGS sum. Oh, maybe I should actually give it a value, right? Underscore COGS sum equals the sum of COGS, cost of goods sold. Hit OK. And now I can add it to my p-switch values. Instead of discount sum, it's just going to be COGS sum. And now, when I click outside here, I will see COGS right here. But you'll notice that it landed in the wrong place. It's supposed to go to the end, right? That's what I told you earlier. We got to make sure that this has a 3 and this guy gets a 4. This controls the order. So that's really important. Now COGS is at the end. You can see it here. You can see it down in this right here as well. You can see it down here, and you can start to add all the formatting you want. You know, make this, it shows pink for this one, so you can make sure to add it, format it. I'll go ahead and do that while I want you to get to work going to impress your boss. Go impress your boss with all the cool stuff and say you did it by yourself. I'll give you all the credit. You don't have to say you used this video. I just want you to get lots of recognition, get lots of money. You deserve a raise, so you can buy lots of cool stuff. Whatever it is you're into, I want you to be able to buy lots of cool stuff. All right, we are still under an hour, and I am done babbling. And so get to work. Hopefully this was useful. And let me know. Let me know if it was useful. Let me know if I could change something. Hopefully you're good to go. I will have, again, this in the description for you, so you will be able to see this particular report and also the PBIX file. If you want to download the PBIX file, it's going to be in the description as well, so you can just use mine and overlay your data on top of it. I don't know, up to you. Hope you have a great one, and thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.